welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing good today. So in today's video, I am going to talk about my favorite hydrating sunscreen available here in India that doesn't have white cast or that has very minimal peeling and that are amazing for this winter season. So let's get into the video now. Also, if you are someone who's new to my channel, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you like it here. I mostly post about affordable makeup, skincare, fashion on this channel. So if that's a content you want to consume 4 days a week, sometimes I do post 5 days a week, 6 days a week even. So yeah, you can hit the subscribe button, along with that the notification bell as well, because that way YouTube is going to recommend you my videos more. So let's get into the video now. So before jumping onto the video, I do want to say that I'm not filming this in natural sunlight. I wish I could, but the sunlight is just going in and out. Sometimes it's cloudy, sometimes it's like super sunny. So I just didn't want this video to have inconsistent lighting. Also, the next thing I wanted to talk about is that I did not include any Korean sunscreen brands because I know a lot of people do love Korean sunscreen, but they can be a little bit expensive. And let me just go through the whole Indian brand sunscreen, and then maybe you can do like a Korean brand sunscreen too as well, because I have been testing out few from Korean brands, but obviously it's going to take me a little longer to test out more and more and see the formulations of that as well. And the third thing I want to say is I'm not going to tell you guys which sunscreen to buy or which sunscreen is the best. I am just going to give you guys all the information that you need to know about all these sunscreen, and then you can decide which one is going to be best for your skin type, for your weather, for just as a preference, which one do you prefer more. Everything I'm just going to give you the information. You can consume it and you can just go and get any sunscreen that I'm going to recommend from this. So let's get on with the video now. So the first sunscreen I'm going to talk about is the Dermaco 1% Hyaluronic Acid Sunscreen Aqua Gel. Now this sunscreen retails for 499 rupees, but if you use my code Arnakshi20, you can get this on 20% off. It is not an affiliate code. I just wanted to mention that. So the next thing about the aspect of the sunscreen is the consistency, the texture of the sunscreen. It is very, very liquid. It's not something that is going to settle in your skin like a matte sunscreen. It definitely gives you the hydration, but it's not too much also. So that is why I feel like it is going to suit a lot of skin types. As you can see here, I am applying it on my skin, and it also doesn't leave a white cast at all. I do believe that this is a sunscreen that settles in with your skin really, really beautifully. And it doesn't matter if you have oily skin, dry skin, combination skin, sensitive skin even, you are going to definitely love this sunscreen because it does like a really good job, and it sits so beautifully on your skin. It's not uncomfortable in any way. Is it the most hydrating sunscreen? I don't think so, obviously, but it is hydrating enough to get me through the winter days. And yeah, I do really like it. I have been using it for quite some time, like quite few months, and it is one of the best products that I have tried from Dermaco, and I absolutely did love it. So this again doesn't have any white cast. The peeling situation, I would say, is not too much on this sunscreen as well. Sometimes I have seen a little bit of peeling here and there, but it definitely does depend on what skincare I have underneath. If I'm applying a lot of heavy serums and stuff like that, it does peel a little bit, not too much, not where it's going to ruin your makeup or it's going to look really, really bad, nothing like that. Another thing about this is that it's fragrance free. So if you want a sunscreen which is fragrance free, I do believe you may like it. Also, another big thing that I noticed about this sunscreen is that as for someone who has dry skin, I just cannot go in only with this sunscreen. I do need a good hydrating moisturizer. Then if I go in with this sunscreen, it just sits so beautifully. But I have tried just using this sunscreen alone by itself. It doesn't do a great job alone. It does feel a little bit on the drier side. So yes, even if this is a hydrating sunscreen, I do believe if you have dry skin, please do not skip your moisturizer while you're using this. Definitely use a moisturizer underneath, and yeah, you're going to love it. So that was the only disadvantage. I would say it's not even a disadvantage, but yeah, I just wanted that you guys to have that information as well, because if you use this alone, I do not believe it gives you the best results. You have to use this along with a moisturizer. I always wear my moisturizers all the time, so that's not a big deal for me. So yeah, just alone this sunscreen isn't the best, but with the moisturizer, this just glides on and gives you the hydrating and moisturizing effect, and yeah, love it a lot. So the next product I have here is this Lakme Sun Expert Tinted Sunscreen. Now I have been using this for months and months, and I was on a fence about putting this up on today's video or not, because I know a lot of people have polarizing views on the Lakme sunscreen, but I just wanted to give you my information about what I feel about this sunscreen. Now, coming into the price of this sunscreen, I will leave it on the screen. I really do not remember the price of this sunscreen. It's somewhere around it's 325 rupees, and you do get like how much 50 ml of sunscreen in here, so it's a pretty decent sunscreen, I would say, according to the prices. Now let's come on to the consistency of this. This consistency is very, very cream like, it falls under a little bit on the thicker side, and this says it's a tinted sunscreen, but I feel like it doesn't have enough tint, not like that you see in the international tinted sunscreen, nothing of that sort. I feel like it does have a little bit of that beige kind of effect, and that's it. The best thing I like about this is that it blends so well into the skin. I love it so much. This sunscreen is really good for that. And another best thing I like about this is that it looks good underneath your makeup as well. So if you're someone who wears makeup on a daily basis, I do believe you are going to love this sunscreen. Now this has a 50 SPF in it. Now this has a 50 SPF, the Lakme one, and yeah, so this doesn't give you any white cast. I have not noticed any peeling as well. And as for does it irritate under my eyes, because a lot of sunscreen tend to do that. This doesn't. I feel like it is a really, really good sunscreen, except one thing. I do not like the fragrance of this. This is a little bit too much for my skin. If you do not have problem with fragrance, you can definitely check it out. For the price, it is definitely a really, really good sunscreen, but the scent of this is a little bit too much sometimes. I really like it. As I said already, I have almost used this up. There isn't much left on this sunscreen. But yeah, just the only thing is that I wish Lakme did look up with their fragrance. At least they could give a little bit of the mild fragrance on this. Other than that, this was a perfect sunscreen, for me. But I still wanted to include this in today's video because a lot of people might like it, even though it does contain a little bit of fragrance in here. So yeah, I really did like it, and it is a really good product except the fragrance part. So the next product I have in here is a little bit on the expensive side, but I'm going to talk about this sunscreen and why I have been loving it. Now this is the Pulp GTG Superfood Moisturizer Plus Sunscreen. Now by the title, as you can see, this is definitely a moisturizer and a sunscreen. So this has 40 SPF in here, so it has a really good amount of SPF as well. Now let me come to the pricing of this. This retails for 1,199. Now I know it's a little bit up there when you consider the price of this, but the consistency of this is exactly like a moisturizer would be. If you have oily skin, definitely stay away from this sunscreen and moisturizer, because this can be borderline oily. Now if you are someone who have extremely dry skin, like flaky skin during winters, and you cannot find a sunscreen that is going to work for you, this is the sunscreen you need. It is super hydrating. Like, it is extremely hydrating. I cannot wear a moisturizer and a sunscreen when it comes to this product. I can only use this sunscreen because it can get too much, for my skin as well. And you guys know how much, I talk about my dry skin. But if you have Sahara Desert dry skin, I do believe you are absolutely going to love this sunscreen. Now, it doesn't have white cast. It doesn't have peeling in it. It is such a perfect sunscreen, especially, again, I'm telling you, especially for extremely dry skin. Now, I know a lot of people do stay, in weathers where it's very dry, very windy, and that is why I feel like it is going to suit those extreme climate. I mean, if you have extremely dry skin, still you're going to love this. I use this when I feel like I just want a very quick morning skincare. Just wash my face and use this. That's it. Because I do not need to go in with the moisturizer. I don't have to go in with my hydrating serums as well. Just this one and I'm out, out of the door. So that is when I use this, just for the quick days. And whenever, I just have to run out the door very quick. I just have to wash my face, apply this, and just go out the door. Put on a gloss maybe and just go out the door. So that is why I like it. It does have a little bit of fragrance in here, but I don't believe they have extra fragrance. But yeah, it does smell. It has very mild fragrance, but that's not an added fragrance. It is the fragrance that comes from the ingredients that they have here. They do have really good ingredients in here, like avocado, and yeah, they have really good ingredients. Other good ingredients like aloe vera leaf extract and stuff like that, which can be quite hydrating for the skin. So a really good sunscreen. The only downside is that it can be a little too much sometimes, you know, especially if you are staying in a very humid weather. I do not think you're going to like this, but if you have extremely dry skin, then this is the sunscreen. This can be your go-to sunscreen. So the next product I have in here is the Sunmate Sunscreen. This was actually recommended by my dermatologist, so that is why I'm including this in today's video, because it is really an amazing sunscreen. Now this has 30 SPF in it, and this is a really good sunscreen. The consistency of this is very cream-like. The best thing about this sunscreen is that it's not way too hydrating also, but it's not matte also. It falls somewhere right in between. And if you have you know, oily skin type, combination, sensitive skin, dry skin, you're still going to love this. If you have dry skin, I just want to say that definitely use a good moisturizer underneath, and you're going to love this sunscreen. And it feels a little bit on the silicone side, the texture of the sunscreen, but it doesn't have any, you know, peeling. It doesn't leave you with any white cast at all, and I do absolutely love this sunscreen. A lot of dermatologists recommends this sunscreen as well. Whenever you know, you guys knew that I had, you know, some kind of breakouts and stuff like that on my face, and that is when I use this sunscreen. So I do know that it is going to be amazing for sensitive skin as well. So it is a sunscreen I wear mostly when I am around, you know, the house working. I do not wear this when I go out because this has 30 SPF in here. So yeah, whenever I am inside the house and just filming videos and I just want my makeup also to look good, this is the one I apply, because makeup also sits very nicely on top of this sunscreen. Another aspect of the sunscreen, I have noticed that it looks like it doesn't make your makeup, or it doesn't make your skin oily throughout the day. A lot of sunscreen tend to do that, you know. Sometimes it can be a little bit sticky throughout the day. This doesn't do that at all, and that is why I have been loving it. The price of this is around like 800 or something like that. Yeah, 800 rupees for 50 grams, but yeah, it does depend on what type or what kind of preference you have when it comes to sunscreen. But I do absolutely love it, and even though it's not the most hydrating and the most moisturizing sunscreen, but if you have oily skin, I really think that you're going to like this, especially this time of the year in winters. Yes, you're going to like it. So the next sunscreen is something that has become my absolute favorite. This is the sunscreen, this is my go-to sunscreen actually at the moment. So this is the Aqualogica Hydrate Plus sunscreen. This has coconut water in it, and it has hyaluronic acid in it as well. This doesn't say how much hyaluronic acid this has, but I think so. The Aqualogica and Dermaco are from same sister companies or something like that. I don't really know the whole story of it, but I think they have like same labs or something like that. But I like the Aqualogica one more than the Dermaco one. So this one actually retails for 399 rupees, and this one I really like it a lot. The texture of this is very gel like. I feel like it's very water based, more water based than the Dermaco one, and it doesn't leave a white cast at all, and it is super hydrating on the skin. You know, this is the sunscreen I used, and I was like, oh my god, I know I'm going to fall in love with this sunscreen, because the texture and everything is so good, and it doesn't leave a white cast. It's not going to irritate, you know, under your like around your eye area. It's not going to irritate. It doesn't have any peeling. It is one of the best sunscreens that I have used. So the downside of this, I feel like it does have a little bit of fragrance. The fragrance isn't too much. It's something that is going to fade away after you apply this. It's not like the Lakme one. I'm telling you, it's not like the Lakme one, or else I would have definitely clearly mentioned that. So that is why I feel like it is my ideal sunscreen. I do not mind the little fragrance that this has. It's like very negligible. So yeah, so I really like it a lot. No white cast, looks super good for dry skin. If you use, you know, if you are someone who have oily skin, you can just use this, and you can skip your moisturizer also. But if you have dry skin, you can use a moisturizer, obviously. So I feel like, again, it is good for all skin types as well. Even if you have oily skin, especially in winters, I really see myself using this. And just if I run out of it, I'm totally buying another bottles of this, because it is one of the best sunscreens that I have used, especially for the price. It is really good. And this has 50 SPF in it as well. So the next product I have here is from Episoft. This is the Episoft moisturizer with sunscreen. So this is again something similar to the Pulp one, where it's like a moisturizer but it has sunscreen in it as well. Now the sunscreen in it here is 30 SPF. I like to use this instead of the Pulp one, but I like to use this only around the house because this has only 30 SPF, so I do not go out while I'm using this. So yeah, the consistency of this I feel like again is very, very creamy. It's not too creamy also, it's kind of a liquid type of consistency that feels very moisture like. Again, it is a moisturizer with sunscreen, so it is going to give you that hydration, it is going to give you that moisturization, so you do not have to go in with another layer of moisturizer. But again, if you have extremely dry skin, you can go in with a layer of moisturizer, then use this. But I sometimes skip my moisturizer when I am using the Episoft one. It is a dermatologist recommended sunscreen again to me, so that is why I love it. It is really, really good, especially if you have dry skin, extremely dry skin, and you want a sunscreen to wear it just around the house. You know, these days everyone is working from, you know, work from home days. So again, so for something that to just, you know, wear it around the house and you don't have to, you know, just buy a moisturizer also, I do believe you're going to like this. The only disadvantage I would say that this sunscreen has is that sometimes, I don't know, it doesn't do this all the time, but sometimes whenever I am having a little bit of sensitive, you know, eyes, I don't want to say sensitive eyes, but sometimes, you know, I do have allergies, and when that happens, I feel like my eyes are very, very watery. So during that time, whenever I apply this one, I feel like it can have that irritation on my eyes, near my eyes, but it happens very, very rarely. So I just wanted to bring that up. Maybe if you have extremely watery eyes, you can have that problem with this sunscreen. But other than that, this is amazing. No white cast, very, very hydrating on the skin, has almost no peeling. I would say it doesn't have any peeling at all. Looks very, very good under foundation as well, under makeup, and yeah, so those are all the points that I love about this sunscreen as well. Now the price of this sunscreen is around 300, something like that, and yeah, it's really, really good for 300 for the price. It's really good, and you can wear this around the house. So the last sunscreen I have here is this Bioderma Photoderm sunscreen, and it has a 50 SPF in it as well. Now this is a sunscreen, it's more on the heavier and thicker side. As you can see, the consistency of the sunscreen is a little bit on the thicker side, and I don't mind that. The best part I like about this is that it is really, really good for sensitive skin. And when I had a lot of breakouts and stuff, you know, happening, I used this and I was like, yeah, it is really good for sensitive skin. It never irritated my skin, and it did moisturize my skin very, very nicely. The only thing I would say is that initially when you apply this, you feel like this has white cast in here, but it doesn't. That is because, you know, once you apply this, you feel like, oh my god, this has white cast in it, you know, but it does settle down and it doesn't leave you with that white cast. Initially for like 1 or 2 seconds you can have that white cast, but it does go away. The only thing I would say is that sometimes it does cause peeling, very minimal peeling, but it can cause a little bit of peeling, especially if you're applying a lot of this at once. I do believe this can cause a little bit of the peeling situation, but other than that, it is one of the best sunscreens that I have used, especially for the weather that we are in. You know, in Guwahati, it's not too wintry type, you know, it's not too cold, it's not too hot also. So that is why I really like this sunscreen, and it does wear really nicely under makeup as well. But yeah, it can cause a little bit of peeling situation sometimes. It retails for 800 rupees. So it depends, you know, if you want to spend your 800 rupees on the Bioderma one, as you can see by the, you know, by the whole situation on my face. If you want to spend on this or the other sunscreen, I have all the options for you guys. So a lot of you guys will ask me why isn't the minimalist sunscreen included, and that is because I really do love the minimalist sunscreen, but I have heard a lot of polarizing views on that. I personally use it as well, like, you know, on my day-to-day basis also I use it. Right now I'm using only the Aqualogica one because I'm just in love with it, but I do use the minimalist sunscreens. But I have heard a lot of people say it's kind of peeling on their skin, they don't like it, and I've heard a lot of people say good things as well. So it's like a very polarizing product, and I did not want to include that because I feel like, you know, if a lot of people don't like it, it may not suit a lot of skin type. So yeah, for all the hydrating sunscreen, I love all these, and I feel like these work really, really good for this winter season. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys liked it. I really tried to include all the points in today's video, just the important points, highlight all the important points, and so that you guys can decide which sunscreen to buy. So anyway, thank you so much. I will see you guys in my next video. If you like the video, you can give a thumbs up, and also you can hit the subscribe button, along with that the notification bell if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye bye.